Well, series over. Golden State end up pulling off the Game 7 win against the Houston Rockets, eliminating them from playoff contentions, and they advance to the second round where they're going to end up facing the Minnesota Timberwolves. And I'm going to say Steve Kerr did a good job with bouncing back in this series because I was on his ass last game, saying how he wasn't making adjustments, he wasn't making proper adjustments and things like that. And today he did a big thing, which I felt like, kind of factored into them winning this game, in which, he was throwing his own at the Golden State Warriors throughout this series, was kind of messing up their offensive rhythm and flow, things like that. And what Steve Kerr did, he doubled down on what Ime did. And he ran his own zone against the Houston Rockets, because the Houston Rockets, as we know, is a much younger team. They're a more athletic team. They got younger, more fresh legs than the Golden State Warriors. So, with all that being said, he took that and was like, okay, what we're going to do, we're going to run a zone to try to keep them out of transition, make them play in the half court, force them, keep them outside the paint, and force them to knock down threes. In which ultimately, the Houston Rockets, it showed that they didn't have enough shooting tonight. Fred VanVleet, he didn't have it going from the 3-point line like he was the last three games. Jalen Green, pathetic. Jalen Green, you straight boo-boo, man. I'm talking about boo-boo. Like, come on, dog. Like, how the fuck you supposed to be a superstar in the making and your ass can't even give us 10 points, dog? Like, man, I'm sick of dude ass. Like, man, my mama had text me. She talking about some Jalen Green so inconsistent. I said, no. I said he is consistent. He been consistently bad this whole fucking series. That is the true definition of consistent. People think inconsistent is when somebody, play good and play bad. You know what I'm saying? When a nigga just playing bad and once he had one good game, that's what they expect from that player. Like, no, man. Like, Jalen Green has been consistently bad throughout this whole series. Because he had one good game out of 7 games. That do not make him inconsistent. Inconsistent is a player like Paul George. Because you don't know what the fuck you expect from Paul George. You might get a good game, but you might not get a good game. That's inconsistent. Jalen Green was just horrible. He was trash, like straight up pathetic. But like I was back to my original statement, man. The Golden State Warriors, they end up, Buddy Hield, that main ass. Well, look, he stole Steph Curry powers. He started off the game red fucking hot, and I was just on his ass last game, saying like he ain't nothing but a fucking shooting guard version of Giannis, man. Which he still is. The shooting guard version of Giannis, because he ain't got no bag and all he do is just run up and down the court and just chuck threes. Which all Giannis do is run up and down the court and dunk. Like, a shooting guard version of Giannis, but his shooting guard, Giannis, big teeth ass nigga, man, had a good game tonight. And I'm going to give credit where credit is due. He had a good game. Paz knocked down shots. Jimmy Butler contributed. Draymond, big donkey, weasel looking ass, he had a semi-decent game. He knocked down a couple shots early, which I felt like the downfall to me in this game for the Houston Rockets was that he was living and dying by that zone. Obviously, one thing you got to know that playoffs is all about adjustments. And, things that was working for the Houston Rockets will ultimately help them get into the 7-game series, will help them win, come back from down 3-1 and things like that. Was the zone, was the double big lineup. But the thing is, once the other team adjusts into what you did, now it's your turn to make another chess move. And he stuck with the zone too long. I feel like once he seen Buddy Hield having that type of night, shooting the ball from the perimeter, things like that, Paz was knocking down shots, Draymond was knocking down shots. I don't understand. You have good enough defenders. You got good enough length and size out there where you could have went out there and played, man. The same thing that you were doing in zone to Steph Curry to kind of take away Steph Curry. You could have did that in man-to-man, defensive coverage, where you're not just leaving guys wide open for practice warm-up threes. You heard me? Like, that's why I feel like Ime, where I felt like this was the only time where I could say Ime made a bonehead move, and I question his decision making on why he did that. You know, and another thing, him playing Jalen Green long, like, this is game 7. You gotta play the guys that you know gonna go out there and give you something. I don't give a damn if he young and he got to go through it. Man, fuck that. Is you trying to win tonight? Jalen Green not producing or winning, man. How the fuck he's supposed to be the best player on your team? Number 2 draft pick. Let's not forget that. A number 2 draft pick. This man was mad as fuck at Cade, talking about he was better than Cade. He had a pure opportunity to lead his team in a game 7 to redeem himself from all the sins he committed from the first fucking 6 games, and that man still ain't do shit. He wet the bed. Man, listen, bro. Get that fucking fingernail polish and all that emo bullshit out your fucking mind. I'm tired of seeing this light-skinned ass, finger painting ass nigga on my fucking TV screen in these damn Wingstop commercials eating chicken strips. I need to see his ugly ass in the fucking gym, man. Knocking down shots. Playoffs don't do nothing but expose your weaknesses. And Jalen Green showed the whole fucking basketball universe that he got a whole bunch of weaknesses that he need to work on in the offseason. He can't fucking beat nobody off the dribble. He don't know what to do if a double team comes to him. He don't know how to play out of a double team. He don't know what the fuck to do in a playoff environment. He can't score. What the fuck can Jalen Green do, man? Other than he got good athleticism, but he wasn't even using that to his strength. Jalen Green, you just bad all over around, man. The most consistent ass. You and James Harden consistent as fuck. Now understand this your first playoff series and things like that. So you're not, exactly on James Harden level of being consistently ass. But bruh, 6 games of dog shit. My nigga, you average fucking 9 points in this fucking series outside of game 2. I don't even count game 2 because that's not even who you is. You was out your top. Like, you down bad for man, you down bad. I ain't lying. If I was fucking, I just text my mama. I said, if I was on the Rockets, I would have had a scuffle with one of the niggas on the, with the Warriors. I ain't lying. I'm a sore loser, man. Niggas are going out there, still hitting nights. Draymond was doing all this woofing and yakking, jaw jacking and all this shit. Fouling us hard as fuck. Doing all this ton of shit. Alright. We know we finna lose. Alright, I got something for you. I'm finna straight up maul me a nigga. Yeah. That's what it is. Niggas finna win on our home court. Niggas turning shit. Okay, alright. Bet. Alright. I got something for that. Fran VanVleet, he kind of stood on business. Jimmy Butler was act like he was a fucking lineman trying to block his buddy Hill to get a free basket. He pushed that man. Exactly what I would have did. As soon as he would have got up, nigga, yeah, what? Do me something. I just did you that. Fuck, nigga. Shit, man. Like, nah, it was a good game, though, but Houston Rockets, they got nothing to be, sad about. Their young team. They got a bright future ahead of them. Amen Thompson. He played good in this game tonight. Obviously his calf was kind of messing him up later on during the games and things like that. But it was good that this Houston Rockets team was able to go 7 games in their first ever, real playoff, in real playoff format. Things like that, because they're going to be able to learn from that. Now they going to know what it takes to be able to win a series now. Now they going to know what it's like to close out a game. Now they going to know what it's like to actually win in the playoffs. They going to know they're going to have to make knockdown free throws. They going to know they're going to have to rebound. They going to know they're going to have to defend at a high level. They know the energy that it takes. They know the level of focus that it takes. They know the level of discipline that it takes, especially to be able to beat a veteran team such as the Golden State Warriors. To be able to be in that position that they was already in, being down 3-1, and then winning the next 2 games with ultimately forcing the game 7. That showed a lot of character building right there. Now, obviously, like I said, Jalen Green, he didn't come up, but obviously, I hope he can be able to bounce back from this. Like I said, the Houston Rockets, they not going nowhere no time soon. They gonna keep elevating. Şengün gonna get better from this. Amen Thompson gonna get better from this. Hopefully Jalen Green get better from this. Tari Eason gonna get better from this. Jabari Smith gonna get better from this. All those young guys that played in this series tonight, they're gonna get better than this. He got a good squad on his hands. He got a good young team that is disciplined, that is athletic, that is hungry, and now they're gonna be able to come back next year with a chip on their shoulder. Feel like they left something on the table. I feel like they had an opportunity. They missed out on the golden opportunity to be able to advance to the second round in these playoffs. You know, they didn't rebound as effectively that they did tonight. You got to give credit to the Golden State Warriors for making sure that they limit them to one shot down the court, you know, majority of the time and things like that. Steph, he ended up getting it going later on down the stretch, which, you know, he was doing other little things to help his team win. But overall, you know, it was a good series. You know, a young team that haven't been in this position, ain't been in this predicament, that don't know what it takes, obviously, to you know, to be in a closeout game. They back to us against the wall the last 2 games, so I will give them credit for fighting through, fighting back. Houston Rockets, I got nothing but respect for them. You know, the utmost respect. You know, Amen Thompson, years to come, he gonna be scary. He gonna be a player that motherfuckers need to watch out for. You know, he steadily gonna be improving. He got the defensive powers. He got the capability on the offensive side of the ball with him being long, athletic, being able to ball handle. You know, being able to play making. He can play above the rim. And once he get that, you know, his free throws was got better, knocking down free throws. Once he be able to add that jump shot to his game, 2-3 years down the line from today, man gonna be scary. He gonna give a lot of niggas problems. Same thing as our friend Şengün. Like I said, this even though they lost, this was good for the Houston Rockets for building and setting a foundation for all these guys that's over there that is young. You know, because like now they didn't went through it. Ain't nothing, you know, experience. You don't gain experience and knowledge until you go through things. You know, so you will never know how to win until you learn how to win. You gotta learn first, then you gotta do. You heard me? Like, ain't nobody, no greats. LeBron had to go through it. Michael Jordan had to go through it. Kevin Durant had to go through it. Steph Curry had to go through it. Kobe had to go through it. Magic had to go. Well, Magic won his rookie year, but you know what I'm saying? That's an anomaly. It's rare that guys that's young and it's first time in the playoffs that they to go straight to the NBA championship, straight to the NBA finals, or win the NBA finals and things like that. You got to go through the grit and grind. You got to go through those building blocks. You got to set a foundation. Now that y'all got the foundation over there, y'all got it set. Now it's time for y'all to build on what y'all did this year. Next year, it's time to take that to the next level. You seen what the OKC Thunder did last year. A lot of those was a lot of guys first time being in the playoffs format, things like that. They won the first round series. Ultimately, you know, they went into the second round. They ended up losing to the Dallas Mavericks. Then you seen they bounced back this year. Number 1 overall seed in the whole NBA association. You know, they swept Memphis Grizzlies in the first round. You know, now we're gonna see what they do. But you gotta start somewhere. And the Houston Rockets got a bright future ahead of them. You know, there's no need to hang their heads. They play with a lot of heart. They showed that they got heart. They showed that they got, you know, capability, you know, of making real noise in the Western Conference for years to come. You know, with centerpieces of Anfern Şengün and Amen Thompson, even Tari Eason and Jabari Smith. You know, the future is looking bright for the Houston Rockets. But still got to give credit where credit is due. Let me just say this though. I don't need no Warriors fans in my comments trying to joke and do all that bullshit and laughing and talking about I told you so and things like that. Because where the fuck was y'all last video when I was joking off y'all when y'all said y'all was gonna win in 6 at home? You know, obviously, you know, y'all didn't do that. And you know, one thing I'm gonna say too. Warriors, if y'all do that, Warriors fans got to be the most biggest front runners I know. Draymond front runner. He was not talking nothing all game. Then as soon as the camera come on him when y'all was up like 15, this nigga talking about some time to go home, you know, this and this and that. You know, I didn't see a night at all this series until tonight when y'all was up 20. Fucking front runners, you know what I'm saying? But still, I'm gonna give credit what credit to do. If they came out and won this game, they came out and played with urgency. This what I was expecting the Golden State Warriors to come out and play with this type of energy and this type of urgency in Game 6 when they was on their home floor to be able to close it out. They made this series harder than what it is. Now with all the older guys that y'all got on their team, Steph Curry still dealing with the thumb injury. You got Draymond, Jimmy Butler. These are older guys playing heavy minutes. They're gonna take a toll on your legs, especially when you're going up against another team that's similar to the fucking Rockets. These are the next series that y'all play against the Minnesota Timberwolves is the Rockets 2.0. Because now they got Ant-Man. They got a bona fide scorer. That is not Jalen Green. I'm going to tell you something right now. Anthony Edwards is not Jalen Green. He going to show up. You got Julius Randle. The same Jay McDaniels, Naj Reid, rim protection, all that thing. The same thing that you just had to deal with in the Houston Rockets series, you're going to have to deal with that again for another however many games they go. Against the fucking Minnesota Timberwolves. So I don't really look at this like y'all just did something spectacular, because y'all should have had opportunities to be able to get this team up out of here. Championship team, they don't play with their food, and y'all play with y'all food way too long. But like I said, nonetheless, it was a good win from y'all. Buddy Hield had a career night. That nigga was Steph Curry tonight. Steph Curry was Buddy Hield, and Buddy Hield was Steph Curry. Shit. That's how I looked at it. That nigga was going stupid. Pies played, he got him great minutes. Draymond, great minutes. Another thing that Steve Kerr did, like I said, Steve Kerr, he had a good coaching job today. Did a good coaching performance today. With putting his own, being able to slow the offense, the Houston Rockets offense momentum down, be able to keep them in half court, be able to keep the ball in front of them, to keep them out of transition and things like that, where you won't cause so much havoc and chaos for the Golden State Warriors, where they ain't just running up and down, where they ain't just turning the ball over and things like that. Be able to force him to make outside perimeter shots, which that was the game plan for Steve Kerr. He was trying to see if the Houston Rockets can be able to beat them from the outside, and obviously they couldn't today. The 3-point shot was not falling, limiting them to one shot, in which the Houston Rockets been dominating the Golden State Warriors on the glass all series long, and they was able to control that. Steve Kerr made the proper adjustments this game that Ime did not do. Ime, he lived and died. He lived and died with the 2-man lineup. He lived and died with the zone defense, and he ended up dying with it. Steve Kerr, he ended up, some things, like I said, it's all about adjustments. Once Ime made the chess move, it was up to Steve Kerr to be able to counteract that, and he didn't until Game 7. Then once Game 7 came, Steve Kerr made the proper adjustment. It was up to Ime to make an in-game adjustment to counter that. And Ime failed to do that, but when he did it, I felt like it was already too late, because you waited too long. You already let Buddy Hield get going. You let him see too many go through the net already. You let Draymond see too many go through the net. You let Pies get in rhythm, offense, and flow in rhythm. So guys was already in rhythm before you tried to change up the game plan. But Steve Kerr did a good job. He also played Kevon Looney tonight. Will help keep the Houston Rockets off the offensive glass, which I felt like was good. There was a good series overall. Both teams played great. That's all you can really ask for. We got 2 Game 7s in the first round. Houston Rockets, bright future. Salute to them. Salute to the Golden State Warriors. And I'm going to see all y'all Warriors fans. I'm going to see y'all at the Game 1. And y'all play Minnesota Timberwolves. And I'm going to see y'all then. Make sure you hit that like button. Subscribe. And hit that comment section below. And I'm going to see y'all next time.